you're less likely to make errors. How many dating relationships end in disaster, end in trauma, end in heartbreak? Because the people engaged didn't know, they didn't have a clue about what they were doing.
Don't you want somebody to love when you're lonely? Don't you want somebody to lighten your load?
Modern dating is stupid. Let me tell you why. First, I'll give you 2 reasons, and then the third, what to do with it. I'm Thoughtful Husband. Let's get to work. Modern dating is stupid. Reason number 1. Number 1, no structure. Now let me ask you, if you were going to get a medical procedure done, wouldn't you want to know that the doctor knows what they're doing? If you were going to go to a sports game, wouldn't you want to know that there was rules? If you were going to work a job, wouldn't you want a job title to guide you? Well, if these very important things are so important and have rule sets and structure, why wouldn't a modern relationship have something like that? See, part of the problem with modern dating is that it's led mostly by desire. There's no structure. It's led by attraction. It's led by romance. It's led by feelings. And feelings don't tell you what to do. They just point you in a direction. And feelings, emotions, desire, without the necessary maturity and the structure to contain it, is chaos. Let's talk about how people used to do it. People used to do this thing called talking. I'm talking to somebody. And then they went from talking to dating. And dating was not necessarily exclusive. And then dating led to going steady. Going steady means you're exclusive. You're only going out with one person. Going steady leads to engagement. And then engagement leads to marriage. That's a structure. You may not like it, but it's at least a vague path to follow. What about the Catholics? You might not like how the Catholics do marriage, but you must agree they know how to do a version of marriage, at least. They call it a sacrament. There are specific marriage counseling that they do. You have a Catholic wedding. There is family planning and birth control and a host of all kinds of resources available to them. You might not agree with how they do it, but they at least know how to do it, or a way to do it, which is better than any old way. Let's talk about my brothers and sisters from the LDS community. They get sealed in the temple. They do premarital counseling. They have an entire theology and philosophy on what marriage is and what it's all about and what it's for, extending not only in this lifetime but the next. Right? You may not agree with them, but you must agree that at least they have a plan, they have a path, they at least know something about what they're doing, right? And here's the big problem, right? Is that oppressive? Is it oppressive to say, I'm going to have a relationship and it's go this direction, it's going to do this thing, it's going to do that? Yes, it is a little oppressive. It is a little constrictive. Yes, but there's form, there's focus, there's function that manages the chaos of modern relationships. You see, freedom without maturity is just chaos. It's just chaos. Number 2, modern dating is led by emotions and instinct, not by thoughtful purpose. Think about this for a second here. Nature didn't design us to be a wife and a husband in perpetual romance from here till death do us part. It didn't design us for that. It doesn't care. It cares that we make babies and we keep those babies alive. That's all it cares about. Now, the happiness that we can create requires discipline. It requires thoughtfulness. We're not just creatures. We're not just animals. It's going to require more discipline. It's going to require more forethought in order not just to make this thing happen, but to make it keep happening. Modern dating leads with desire. It leads with connection. And connection can lead us into trauma. It can lead us into heartbreak. In the construction world, the architect world, they have a saying. And the saying is, measure once, cut twice, measure twice, cut once. What does that mean? It means if you don't measure, if you don't know what you're doing, and then you just go ahead and do it, you're going to make errors. You're going to pay for those errors. It's going to be twice as hard. But if you thoughtfully consider what you're doing before you set out to do it, if you consider the cost and the resources and the time and the purpose, you're less likely to make errors. How many dating relationships end in disaster, end in trauma, end in heartbreak? Because the people engaged didn't know, they didn't have a clue about what they were doing. So let me show you something that might be helpful in your dating journey. I call this the single to married continuum. and it should help you out quite a bit. Something you should know if you're dating is that you shouldn't jump into vulnerability too quickly. When I look at a healthy dating relationship, just like the old folks used to do, they start with single, they notice an attraction. They start talking, they start dating, they start going steady, they get engaged, and then all the way over here they're married. There's an increased level of vulnerability over time with the other person. Not all at once, not too quickly, not too slowly, but pacing along with the other person. That's the second thing. You should be pacing with the person you're dating. What does that mean? It's not safe for you to be all the way over here towards married and the other person is way over here towards single. In fact, whatever distance, whatever gap, that's usually where relationship problems happen in dating. It's just a lack of expectation. Third thing, in the dating relationship, I have found personally that there's a tension that creeps up over time. Meaning the longer you stay in this middle ground here, not single, not married, just kind of like halfway in between, the longer you are there, the more tension tends to build up. The more, what are we doing here? Where is this going here? Kinds of questions tend to add up over time. Because I do believe that people know how to be single and they know how to be married, kind of. They don't know how to do something in between. They don't. And I don't even know that it's sustainable. Well, how do you resolve problems when you're dating, especially a problem with marriage and singleness and dating expectations? I like to say have the DTR. DTR means defining the relationship. Have that talk. And here's how you do that. You take this. You take what I have right here. And what you ask is, where do you think I am in this relationship? And you ask, and the other person asks, where do you think I am? Okay, I think you're right here. Okay, why'd you say here? Why'd you say there? Okay, well, where am I actually at? I'm actually here. Well, why are you here and not there? Why are you not over here? Why are you not towards single more? Well, what about you? Where are you actually at? Oh, well, I'm actually like kind of right here. You know, why are you over here? Why are you not over here? Why are you not towards married? What's going on here? And you might notice that the gap between where you are and where the other person is makes this person way less safe. It makes them feel the vulnerability. Is I'm kind of married to somebody who isn't married back to me. That's a problem. That's a vulnerability that you just can't communicate over. The only relationships that are safe are ones in which both people are mutually vulnerable. Meaning if you start the dating relationship here, then you pace together. And when one of you goes a little bit further than the other one, you have to have that DTR. You have to have that conversation. What's going on here? Like, are we on track? Are we headed towards the same thing? Because if we don't, I need to know. I need to know, and I need to know quickly. This has been the Single to Married Continuum. I hope it's been helpful for you. Please take it seriously, use it, have the conversation. The longer you're in here, the more the tension increases. It's not like you can just shove things under the rug and they'll just stay there. I've been the Thoughtful Husband. Hope I've been helpful to you today. Take care.
Don't you want somebody to figure you out?